All right. Got it. All right. I think we are live. I think we are live. I think we are live. Yes, we are. Hello, everybody. How is everyone doing today? Happy Thursday. I feel like this is another one of those days I've been live a lot because I was live in the Jumpstart. I was live in here. I was live now. I did not do a reel though today. So there's one less. So you guys, sorry about that. I actually came on and I actually, instead of agreeing to the fact that it was being live streamed, I actually said leave meeting. So I jumped out. So I apologize. So I am excited to be here. Don't y'all laugh at me. I have long sleeves on and a sweater because it is 88 degrees outside. And it's freezing in here so that it's cooled enough. I can't, I struggle so much, you guys, with it being hot because it has to be cool. Well, for my own sanity, right? And it has to be cool for my dogs. And then I freeze, like my hands are even chilly. So I have like my tank top on that I'll be going outside in just after we get done. But yet I'm running around with a sweater on. So I don't always, hello, Renee, put away all my sweaters because I know myself. I know how cold I get. So, and I wonder for those of you that are struggling with the hot flashes and the night sweats, do you do something similar? Mine used to be because of that. And it's when I really realized that I didn't really like air conditioning. I found it to be a necessity, but I didn't really like it. I would much rather have cooler air, which we've been having most of the time in the last few mornings. Not today, though. But anyway, so you guys, as you come on, let me know you are here. I am, as I always am, excited to. As I always am excited. Oh, cheesy moly! I'm just not up on my technology today, hitting on the volume and all of that stuff. So I want to talk about fun stuff today. You know, I think anything related to hormones, health, women, habits, dieting, well, not anti-dieting, food. I think any of that's actually really fun stuff. So, you know, I might have a warped sense of what is fun. You might not consider this fun, but I consider it fun. And, you know, I think, as I mentioned to you guys, if you saw this morning, it's, you know, I got all wound up this morning because of, I'm telling you, are things just not working with me today? Because of some stuff I'm seeing in those Weight Watchers groups I was telling you about. And actually, hello, Michelle, you have the same thing. Okay, good, that I'm not alone. You know, just with seeing what these people are eating and what the diet industry has created. And so if you guys, and all the talk is, you guys, it's all about willpower. That's all they're like, you just have to be strong. You just got to get through it. So those of you that are in my Jumpstart, sorry, you heard me rant about willpower this morning. Actually, it was related to what we were talking about anyway. If you're on my email list, you got an email about willpower. So it just gets my mind racing. And I just want to, you know, I want to be the beacon of light for you guys again, that it's not, right? It really isn't. And here's the thing, you know, I try to give you guys tons and tons of information, and there's a lot of information being thrown at you all the time, every day on social platforms about what you need to do to lose weight. And I don't really think that what you came here looking for a strategy. I think you have a lot of wisdom within you. I think you know a lot of what you need to do. And I think the biggest problem that everybody has is implementing it, is actually doing it. And I think where I struggle sometimes with this is because as much as everybody wants to know what the solution is, not everybody wants to know what the solution is, because doesn't fit into the little box that a lot of people want, which is like that it's going to be super easy, that it's going to happen super fast, that a pill can do it, or there's some kind of magic fix, or I can just keep going back to my diets. And like me or don't like me, but I'm never going to lie to you and tell you all those things. It's not awful. It's not something that's going to take forever, but it's not going to happen overnight. You didn't get where you're at overnight with your health, with your habits, with anything around what's going on in your body. So you have to be willing to put some work into it. And it's not ever, ever just about the food. Never. Whether you are just trying to get healthier so that you age in the right way, so that you can, have less menopause symptoms, so you can have less joint pain, so you can lose the weight, whatever it is. Yes. And we're going to be talking specifically about it today. Food is incredibly important, but I always want you to come back to this understanding that what controls the food is your own damn brain. You got to be really honest with yourself about that, right? Yes, I can give you all the knowledge, but if you're not managing what's going on up here, you guys, that's where your challenge lies. That's why diets don't work, because they don't teach you anything about your brain. So I'm going to shut up now, because this is a topic I could go on and on and on and on about, and I won't. Okay. So when we think about eating, right, for many people, hormones might not be at the top of your mind. Now, if you are in perimenopause and beyond, it might be, but we always have to recognize that hormones play a huge role in our body, right? There are more than 200 hormones in the body. 200, you guys. Okay. So let's just do a couple little basics here, right? So your hormones are chemical messengers that are created by your endocrine glands. Those include the pituitary, the thyroid, the ovaries, the adrenals. I always want to call that pituitary, but I don't think it is. But hormones travel through your body and they deliver messages, to various organs to let them know what to do to keep things running smoothly. So when we talk, especially in perimenopause and menopause, we talk very specific about some very specific hormones, right? Specifically, the most common one is estrogen, right? Estrogen promotes breast tissue, controls a menstrual cycle for people with uteruses or prior to menopause, impacts healthy skin, hair, protects bone health. Then there's progesterone. I'm not going to go through what each one does. There's testosterone, insulin, thyroid. Thyroid is a big one. Well, I will talk about some of these. Insulin allows our cells to utilize energy from food. So insulin is a very important one. And there's a lot of talk about insulin resistance these days. Then there's our thyroid hormone. Now, thyroid has a huge connection with controlling our metabolism, our body, and temperature. Cortisol, that is your stress hormone. That is another big one. DHEA, which is a precursor to the sex hormones, estrogen and testosterone. Leptin, which is your fullness hormone, which tells your brain when it's time to stop. Ghrelin, which is the hunger hormone. It's the one that stimulates your appetite and makes you feel hungry. Melatonin is your sleep hormone that promotes healthy sleep. So those are just a few, and those are probably the ones I talk about the most, and probably the ones, if you are, you look up things around menopause, those are the ones you're probably going to see. Maybe adrenaline, because that's coming out of your adrenals. But and as with anything, I always recommend to make sure, not that I don't think you need necessarily like full hormone panels done to know if you are in perimenopause or in menopause, but something that is very common for a lot of women is to be diagnosed with hypothyroid, which is a sluggish or a slower thyroid. So if you are struggling with weight loss, it is always a good one to get tested, just to make sure that that's working with you and not against you. And here is the thing: when your hormones get out of balance, all it takes is one to throw off the whole shebang. This is a delicate balance in there, you guys, and far more delicate once it starts fluctuating. As you might have heard me, those of you that have been with me for a while, the players are all the same now, but the game has changed, right? And you have to recognize that. So when they're out of balance, so too much or too little are produced, or something interferes with the signaling pathways, it can lead to a lot of different symptoms. Now, long term, right, when we're not even talking about menopause, our disrupted hormones cause things like diabetes, infertility, PCOS, right, weight loss or gain, all of that stuff. And then again, it's something that is part of all of your menopause symptoms are a signal of imbalance. That's what it is. That's what causes them. And anything your body, any symptom your body has is a communication from your body, as in, okay, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to really, really hammer this point in that something's not working. Here you go. Let me tell you about it. Have a hot flash. Okay. So how do you know if your hormones are imbalanced? Okay, well, you can look at your cycle. That is the first thing, right? Are they infertility, period problems like PMS, heavy painful periods, migraines can all be signs of hormones out of balance. Okay, once those also start different levels of irregularity, hot flashes, night sweats, hormonal or menopause belly, insomnia issues. I didn't even write all these down, but you know the symptoms of menopause, right? There's actually something like 60 of those, but not all of them are super, super common. But they're all related to the fluctuation primarily of estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. And then we'll talk about it towards the end, but we'll also talk about some cortisol in there too. But so we're going to talk about some very specific foods that have been shown to help with your hormone health or your hormone balance. But there's a couple things I want to talk about first before we go into there. So not eating enough calories, not eating enough of our macronutrients can disrupt your hormones and can lead to conditions, again, like obesity, diabetes, infertility. When you're dieting, when you are restricting food intake, your body is not receiving the nutrients it needs for your hormones to efficiently regulate. This lack of energy slows down your thyroid, and it can be common to see severe imbalances over several endocrine secretions. So if I think back now on when I was diagnosed with hypothyroid, I think because I'm off my meds now, I fully believe it was because I was living on like 1,100 calories a day. And I had been for years, which is far too little for your body. So our body, and as our hormones start fluctuating, and I did not know I was in perimenopause either, our bodies are really sensitive to scarcity. If your body doesn't feel like it is getting enough, it down-regulates production of what's considered your sex hormones, your progesterone, your estrogen, your testosterone. Your body doesn't know the difference between war and famine or a new weight loss diet you are trying. So, and I know that right now there is a lot of talk about intermittent fasting and one meal a day and all of that. So I just want you to, and this is coming directly from research that I found, when you skip a meal, you are directly affecting two key hormones, which are insulin and cortisol. Your cortisol increases because your body thinks it's starving, which triggers a stress response that turns on your sympathetic nervous system. Now, over time, increased cortisol can lead to weight gain, particularly in the abdominal area. So stress is not good for many things. Now, has it been helpful for some people? I think it has. I also think there is an initial period with when you do intermittent fasting, because it is such a huge drop in calories, there will be an initial weight gain, as there is with any extreme restriction of calories. Think about it. If you're eating one meal a day, you're going to be really hard pressed to be eating 1,500, 1,800 calories in a day in one meal. It's going to be pretty hard. You're probably not going to be able to do it. So you might be eating 600 or 700 calories, which is about half of what your body needs to survive. So is there a possibility you could lose some weight? Absolutely. Are you wrecking your hormone? Are you not wrecking? Sorry, not a good choice of words. Are you messing with your hormones? Absolutely. Are you setting yourself up for probable weight gain after? Absolutely. Because when you get to the point where you can no longer do this and you go back to eating normally, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to increase the calories, the weight's going to come back up. Okay. So what we eat affects the production of hormones. So that was kind of just a little bit tip there. So if you're not eating enough, you're going to be making your hormone imbalance more. And if you are severely restricting calories, you're really not going to be working too well. So we want to be thinking about our food groups. Now, what are our hormone balanced, hormone friendly, hormone healthy food groups? There's only 3 macronutrients that are out there, you guys. 3: protein, carbohydrates, and fat. So protein is extremely important for hormone balance. It influences the release of leptin and ghrelin. Now, remember, again, those are your hunger, your fullness and hunger hormones. Those are the hormones that control your appetite and your food intake. Now, decreased estrogen and age-related factors such as decreased testosterone can lead to accelerated muscle and bone loss. So due to its role in the muscle building process, emphasizing adequate protein consumption in combination with good strength training during menopause is extremely important. Protein cannot be, I don't think it should ever be skipped. It is, again, one of 3, only 3, you guys, macronutrients, but it does become even more important, in my opinion, and based on all the science that I follow during our menopause transition. Now, many plant-based health coaches out there will tell you, you don't need to worry about protein because it's in all vegetables, and it absolutely positively is. And, the myth that vegans or plant-based people can't get enough protein is a complete lie. But as a menopausal woman, I differ from some of my younger plant-based health coaches in that when I will tell you what I believe to be a balanced plate, it will always include a dedicated source of protein. So whether it's legumes or whether it is, all the different legumes, I don't usually use nuts. I mean, legumes are generally my protein source. It's soy or it's black beans or it's chickpeas, any one of those. It's quinoa, which we're going to talk about. But I do believe that because we do want to be making sure we are setting ourselves up for long-term health. Low protein intake is associated with increase in muscle loss. So we really don't want that. Okay, so for carbohydrate balance, the first one we want is our proteins. Now, I don't think I go into a lot on protein in this one. I don't, but we want for our health, we want the lean proteins, right? So lean meaning not a lot of saturated fats. So your red meat consumption is the lowest. If you're eating animal products, your plant-based are going to be the leanest, and then you've got like your poultry and your fish is going to be the better of the plant-based, the animal-based world. Okay. Then we've got carbohydrates, demonized carbohydrates. Not all carbohydrates are bad. Nutrient-rich, complex, and high-fiber carbohydrates are ideal foods for hormone balance because they help stabilize blood sugar, stabilize insulin, and reduce cortisol levels. 2 different hormones they're affecting here. Fiber does not break down in your body, and since it doesn't convert to sugar, fiber does not raise blood sugar levels like the other kind of carbs, the carbs you do want to be limiting, the white foods, the white flours, the processed foods, the sugary, right? So this is another thing I wanted to dispel out there. Going too low carb, such as with keto, right, can lead to changes in your thyroid, in your sex, and in your stress hormones that could affect your cycle if you still have them, fertility if you are still in that range, and your overall health. Low carb diets do have some benefits for some people, but women especially should pay attention to how it changes, if you go with that eating pattern, what you notice with your hormonal balance, because it does not work for everybody. And the biggest thing that I have seen is that one, it doesn't work like it used to once your hormones are more involved. And two, it does create more stress in the body. And there is enough going on with how we live our lives with stress. The last thing we need is to be getting stressed by not eating something. By not eating something. Doesn't even sound good, does it, you guys? Right? So just be very careful there. Now, again, we're talking about complex carbs, whole food carbohydrates, whole grains, fruits and vegetables, right? Legumes, which are a protein, but they also have some good carbs in them too. I'm not talking about eating, cupcakes. I'm not saying you can't have cupcakes, but those are the ones that you do want to be more mindful of, not all the good ones. Now, if you are diabetic and you have a doctor that is prescribing how you, if you're trying to handle your diabetes through food, not telling you to not listen to your doctor, just make sure your doctor is up on nutrition, because many of them aren't, and they will tell you to not eat carbs, and they won't tell you which ones you shouldn't be eating. That's what I've noticed. I've had people who were told they were pre-diabetic and they were told to watch their carbs with no idea that some carbs are good carbs, right? Okay. And then let's get into fats. So high quality natural fats, whole food fats into your diet can help not only curb your appetite, but also insulin resistance. So consuming healthy fats at meals can help trigger leptin, which is your feeling of fullness, of satiation. Omega-3s especially play a big part in creating hormonal balance because of their anti-inflammatory properties, right? So omega-3 fatty acids, and we're going to talk about specific foods, are a good source of lignans, which are compounds that have a weak estrogen effect. They're phytoestrogens, plant estrogens. It's not estrogen. You're not taking hormones, but a weak estrogen-like substance takes the place of your body's natural estrogen, and it can actually start to reduce menopause. It can start to reduce hot flashes and night sweats. Phytoestrogens are one of the best things you can do for your body if you are really suffering from night sweats and hot flashes, those two especially. All right, so let's talk about specific foods to help hormone health. Okay. Leafy greens, loaded with antioxidants, and they help prevent inflammation. Leafy greens are considered to be hormone balancing foods in that they reduce stress by lowering cortisol levels and help to balance estrogen. Now, there's one, and we're going to talk about this at the end. I wanted to say this. These things can help, these foods, as long as you're going to be doing the other things I'm going to be talking about. And the food alone, just like some pill that says it's going to help you lower your stress, if you're not doing the other things, is not going to work, right? Like, you can't have a messy lifestyle and think that if you eat lots of spinach, it's going to work. Okay. So I'm just going to put that out there. Plus, they're super high in fiber. So we're talking spinach, kale, collard greens, Swiss chard, right? Leafy dark greens. High fiber eating lots of high fiber foods can aid in lowering estrogen levels, especially if you're estrogen dominant, right? It helps to level things out. Okay. Second one, cruciferous veggies, broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, kale again. Brussels sprouts are all part of the cruciferous veggie family, and they are potential foods that help to bring us hormone health, help to regulate our hormones. Like leafy greens, they help process and remove estrogen from the body. And then the high calcium content in broccoli can actually aid in reducing cramps and bloating associated with PMS. Now, you might be skipping your periods, but still around the time of your cycle, be getting a lot of that PMS symptoms. So broccoli would be a really good one. Also can help with regulating mood swings. All of these veggies help your liver metabolize estrogen. All right, another one. Quinoa. Quinoa. Okay. Everybody considers it to be a grain. It's not a grain. It's actually a seed, but it cooks like a grain. We serve it like a grain. And it is one of the few plant foods out there that is a whole protein. Not that none of that matters. As long as you eat protein all day long, you'll get all your amino acids. So on complete proteins. But the other great thing about quinoa too is it is gluten-free, right? So it does help by working on your testosterone levels. Quinoa yields this power due to its high levels of protein that enable blood sugar stabilization. It also packs phosphorus and magnesium, which can help with sleep and PMS symptoms. Okay, see how all these are all kind of playing double duty here. All right, another one is pomegranates. Pomegranates are full of antioxidants. I haven't had them in ages, but they're also known to help block excess estrogen production. So, really good thing. Cherries are rich in melatonin, which aids in restful sleep and is important for hormone balance. Now, as you all know, if you don't know, if you do know how I operate, I'm not a fan of taking any kind of hormone in a pill, and you can buy melatonin. And I used to think it was a good idea until I realized it was actually a hormone I was putting in my body. And I'm okay with them having in foods. That's just me, because if you give yourself too much melatonin from a supplement, you could be throwing your balance off even more. So that's just mine. But melatonin in cherries, not going to have the same effect. Don't forget, you've got fiber, you've got all the things that slow down how it hits your system. It does not hit your system in the same way a pill would. Cherries are also high in magnesium, again, sleep. And magnesium has also been shown to help reduce cortisol and regulate adrenaline in our bodies. Okay, flax seeds. Flax seeds are rich in plant-based estrogen, those phytoestrogens, especially the lignans that I already talked about, which promote hormone balance. They're also rich in omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, and fiber. Fiber is an excellent probiotic. I mean, flax seeds have been called a superfood for quite a long time. So it's not surprising. Hello, Jackie, that they are. So they also help encourage bowel movements because of all the fiber. And they help pull out excess hormones that you might be having, to detox them. I never ever use the word detox as far as like saying you need to go on a detox. But there are a lot of foods that naturally help you do that. So flax seeds are amazing. They contain the highest total phytoestrogen content, also followed by soybeans, edamame, or mukawami, I forget what the, but soy, not soy in processed foods, but actual soybeans, tempeh, tofu, contain phytoestrogens. So there's actually in a lot of different plant foods, there are phytoestrogens. But one of the first things I recommend for people that are struggling around with hot flashes and night sweats and any of the menopause symptoms is to try just bringing in more phytoestrogen foods. Just eat more plants, you guys. I mean, I've been saying the same thing for a long time. Just eat more plants. But we want to do some specific ones. So avocados. Avocados are loaded with beta-cytosterol. I should have looked up how to pronounce that one, which can positively affect blood cholesterol levels and help balance cortisol. Plus, it is a healthy fat. Do not fear the fat. I know that if you grew up like me in the fat-free era, we had a tendency to disregard the fat. Don't eat the fat. Healthy fat, the good fat. And the plant sterols in avocados also includes estrogen and progesterone, the two hormones responsible for the two top ones on our sex hormones. Okay, nuts. Nuts are rich in poly and monounsaturated fats, which are responsible for aiding in blood vessel health and hormone production. So they positively impact your endocrine system. Brazil nuts are a great source of selenium, which is a nutrient crucial to hormone balance as it supports overall thyroid health. Since I have gotten off my thyroid meds, I do a Brazil nut once a day because I'm really determined to stay off my meds. So I have to get checked again in like 8 weeks or whatever it was, however long it is. So, and I want to be normal. I feel normal. I don't feel overtired. Curious to see if it does change weight though. So I'll keep y'all posted. Walnuts are also anti-inflammatory, and rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which promotes good brain health too. And they all have protein. They are nutrient dense, but they are also calorie dense. So that's why I don't usually recommend using them as a primary source of protein at most meals. Usually breakfast is about the only one, because when you don't do eggs and when you don't do meat, there aren't a lot of breakfast proteins out there, right? So I do use some protein in my oats, protein in nut butter, and protein in my granola. So that's where all mine come from. But they, yeah, so don't fear the nuts. Nuts are good, you guys. So those are some specific ones. And we're going to talk again a little bit more as we go down. Where are we at? 4:32. Okay, I'm not doing bad. So what else do you need to eat for? You got to eat for your gut health, you guys. So your gut health, your hormones, your brain, all so interconnected, right? So for hormone production and balance, we need to ensure that our gut bacteria are flourishing. So eating fermented foods daily, kefir, olives, fermented vegetables, make sure you're finding ones in the refrigerated section. Those are the only ones that are going to have live probiotics. Yogurt, raw pickles, sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha, right? Those are all your fermented foods. Miso, which is soy-based. It's a paste, very salty though, be careful. So you want to be eating the prebiotic foods. I'll be mentioning some of those in just a minute. And what I have followed for the last few years is something I read that said 2 tablespoons from 2 different sources per day. So I usually do sauerkraut and yogurt. Those are like, generally speaking, if I'm somewhere and I can find some raw pickles, I will get, because I love pickles. I mean, I get pickles that aren't raw pickles, because I love pickles, or kimchi. I'm very picky about kimchi, I've realized. So is a probiotic supplement necessary? No. Is eating probiotic food necessary? Yeah, that's my thought. You will absorb far more from food than you will from a pill, always. Those of you guys know, if you haven't seen I've done 2 talks now on supplements. Let me know and I'll get you the replays, but I will tell you what my thoughts are on that. Prebiotic foods are cooked onions and asparagus, green bananas, chicory root, artichokes, dandelion greens, oats, hello, oatmeal, are all going to be prebiotic foods. Now there's big talk, and I mentioned this a couple times now, but I'll keep mentioning it. I'm seeing some things that are, everybody's like, my product is really has everything you need. It has prebiotics and probiotics and postbiotics. Oh my God, more gimmicks to get you to buy supplement. Postbiotics are the byproduct of your probiotics. So if you are eating pre and probiotics, you are producing postbiotics. Don't fall for the scam. Another coach that I know today shared my post from this morning about it not being about willpower, about it being healthy habits are what we need to fully change, and it is, without a doubt. But she is very big into supplements, and even she put up something that said that, people think that the supplements are going to be the answer to everything, and I don't like it, because we are a country of quick fixes, right? Wanting the magic solution, the easy way out. There's that part of it. And there's the part that I think their lack of regulation allows these supplements to make it sound like they are the magic solution. They will do all the things that you need them to do. And basically you don't need to do anything but take a pill. And it's all bullshit. And they're all just out for profit. And it's just always important to recognize that. A pill alone is never going to give you the long-term success with managing your symptoms, with better sleep, with weight loss, with inflammation in your body. It's never going to, it might give you an initial boost, but all the other things you're doing, those behaviors, those habits, your lifestyle has a huge impact on all those things. Anyway, I just went off topic. I might do that sometimes, you guys. Okay. Now another part of this, no matter what you are eating, you could be eating all the good stuff in the world. Why is my watch blowing up? Oh my God. Are you guys on Threads? I joined this morning. Oh my goodness. And yeah, it's been a whirlwind of a new social media platform. Anyway, eat in a calm and relaxed environment. So when you are in a state of calm, not of stress, your body will tap into and will have turned on the parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest, your feel and heal part of your autonomic nervous system. The flip side of this, there's two branches to your autonomic nervous system. It is your parasympathetic rest and digest, or your sympathetic, which is your fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. That is your stress response. It is always one or the other. They're never both on or they're never both off unless there's something really wrong in your body. Okay. If your rest and digest, your parasympathetic nervous system is not turned on, and your body will not properly absorb the nutrients you are consuming. So eating on the go, while you're driving, while you're scrolling something negative, while you're watching the news potentially, all have a tendency to stop your body from absorbing the nutrients properly. So worst case scenario, make sure you're getting at least one meal a day away from stress, without distractions, no phone, no TV, sitting at a table. Allow yourself to relax and fully enjoy. Okay. At least one, and work your way up from there, you guys. We all think it's this badge of honor that we can, like, eat. You can be eating the most beautiful salad in the world, but if you're eating it while you're answering emails that are raising your stress levels, you might as well not. I mean, realistically, that's what it does. And it's just blowing the cortisol all over your body. Okay. Knowing your inflammatory triggers, you guys, avoiding inflammatory triggers whenever possible. And these are going to be based on your unique gut microbiome and hormone balance. But for most people, we're talking refined sugar, we're talking alcohol, gluten, corn, dairy, processed foods in general. If you suspect you have a food intolerance or sensitivity, I recommend you do something of an elimination diet to try to figure it out. My thought is, I've heard too many horror stories about those tests. Far more trustworthy to do your own elimination diet. So if you think you might be insensitive to dairy, you think you're having a problem tolerating dairy, take it out of the equation for 3 to 5 days. Bring it back. Well, see what happens when you take it out. How do you feel? Do you feel different? Then bring it back and see what happens. Now, you can take out gluten, you can take out dairy, you can take out all these things, and you could do them all at once. And then individually bring each one back for like 2 to 3 days to see what happens, to see which one it may be. Don't bring it back all at once, because then you won't know which one it is. But you'll learn a lot more. If you haven't noticed, if you are in perimenopause or menopause, how we are metabolizing alcohol is completely different. So just beware of that one. Make sure it's worth it. So the worst foods for hormone balance, you guys: processed foods, fried foods, sugar, artificial sweeteners, and alcohol. Okay. These artificial sweeteners may alter our gut bacteria, which may impact the balance of leptin and ghrelin, the fullness and the hunger hormones. And then alcohol interferes with many hormonal processes, from blood sugar control to estrogen metabolism. So what else? Again, a variety of whole foods. Count your colors, you guys. Forget calories. Count lots and lots of colors. God, I've been talking for a while, haven't I? Eat lots of anti-inflammatory foods, which are going to be foods that do not cause you any bloating, any constipation, any joint issues. You need to know your own triggers. Get your body moving. Doesn't have to be going to the gym for hours. Just get some movement in. Get your body moving. Get good sleep. Prioritize your sleep. Learn how to manage your stress, right? Mindfulness practices like meditation, journaling, deep breathing exercises, learning cognitive behavioral therapy, right? Which is where you learn how to start to work with your own mind, because half the time the stress that we feel is what's coming from our own brains, right? And that can also help you with, give you more tools to cope with any anxiety that might be coming along with, or mood swings that might be coming along with perimenopause and menopause. So that was a lot. I gave you a lot of stuff, but a lot of it comes down to, what can you implement? What can you start? How are you going to do it? You guys, you can't just wake up tomorrow and think you're going to be a different person. You got to put some plans in place. You got to know, all right, so I know I don't eat enough vegetables. Where can I bring in more vegetables? Okay, I want to bring in these, specifically these leafy greens, these cruciferous veggies. All right, so I'm going to start with dinner, because that's where I know it'll be the easiest to put veggies in. So for the next week, I'm going to have either leafy greens or cruciferous veggies at my dinner time. Maybe that's what it looks like. Or maybe it is, you don't have enough fruit. So maybe you start incorporating some fruit into your breakfast, right? Maybe you skip lunch all the time. Maybe you realize that that might not be serving you. So maybe you start to figure out, what could I plan for lunch? What could I bring with me, right? It's all about planning, you guys. None of this stuff will happen willy-nilly. I like to use the word willy-nilly. You really do have to plan for it. So those are my words for you today. I hope that was helpful. If you need some help with what it would look like to do all this naturally, this is what I do. This is how I work with women. These are all the things I help you incorporate. We build on a foundation slowly over time, so they become part of your habits. They become part of your routine. They become part of your identity, so that they no longer are things you have to think about. It just becomes who you are. So you're never on track, off track. You're not on vacation. Like, oh, I know whole foods make me feel better, but not today because I'm on vacation. Not saying you don't indulge in some of the foods, but it's too much who you are to want to feel good in your body than to have, I don't know, fried something and some French fries every day. I don't know, I'm making stuff up, but you know what I mean. But anyway, reach out, let's chat. That's what I do. That's how I help. I have you going from like barely surviving through menopause to actually feeling like you are thriving and feeling like a badass doing it. It's way fun. All right, you guys, have a great rest of the day. Please let me know if you have any questions regarding anything we've gone over. All right, I'll see y'all later.